conversation. I decided we should be friends, but now we're going round in circles. Tell me, will this déjà vu never end? Now you tell me that you're falling in love, but I never thought that would be. This time, gotta take it easy. Throwing far too much emotions at me, but any fool can see they're falling. Gotta make them understand. Giving you everything, all the joy I can bring. This is sweat. Giving you everything, all the joy I can bring. This is sweat. Giving you everything, all the joy I can bring. This is sweat. All that I want from you is the promise you'll be there.
Muy buena, gente. Vamos allá. Vamos a ver el directo de Treyarch con el DLC 2. Y antes de empezar el directo, 15 minutos antes, voy a comentar todas las novedades. Aunque sí, aquí estoy subiendo un vídeo ahora mismo hablando de todas las novedades de DLC de mañana, ¿vale? Pero vamos a mirarlas bien. Tengo por aquí todas las novedades, ¿vale? Tengo aquí. Hay también vídeos también ya de Shoki, de algunos youtubers también así americanos hablando sobre el DLC, ¿vale? Pero vamos a hacer un repaso antes de nada. Un repaso vamos a hacer de todo lo que va a venir mañana y las semanas siguientes, ¿vale? Esta es la operación. Vamos a ver primero el tráiler, ¿vale? Que está por aquí. Está por aquí subido. Está por aquí subido. Vamos a verlo aquí, ¿vale? A parar la música de 2 segundos. He subido, por cierto, he subido aquí en mi canal. He subido 2 vídeos, ¿vale? He subido este, que está a punto de publicarse ya, y mi reacción al tráiler, ¿vale? Pero vamos a ver aquí otra vez en directo el tráiler, ¿vale? Para entrar en contexto. Tenemos 13 minutos antes de que empiece el directo, así que vamos a ver aquí el tráiler, como comento. Operación Gran Atraco. Aquí vemos nuevos personajes, nuevos trajes, nuevas armas y camuflajes, ¿vale? Nuevos mapas también, nuevos vehículos para Blackout y nuevos modos de juego también, ¿vale? Aquí veis la nueva ciudad de Blackout, Buried también. Aquí viene la nueva especialista, ¿vale? El Outrider. Nuevos trajes. Ahí el Brutus. El nuevo vehículo de Buried. Y el nuevo DLC como tal, que tenemos aquí 2 nuevos mapas. Casino. Y no sé cómo se llama el otro. Este es Casino, ¿vale? Con nuevos trajes que es aquí del Firebreak. Hay gameplays del mapa ya, ¿vale? Ha subido ya Shoki un gameplay del mapa. Si queréis ir a ver su canal ahí, Shoki. Esta es la nueva arma, la escopeta, que parece la Spaz. Bueno, nuevos trajes ahí veis, este es para el torque. Yo creo que este es para el torque. Está muy chulo, la verdad. Este es el otro mapa, ¿vale? Que este es el de la Lockup, que es una estación de policía, ¿vale? Los nuevos trajes, la verdad es que molan bastante los nuevos trajes. Todo esto mañana, ¿eh? El nuevo personaje, el gorila. Ahí le veis. Este sería lo que viene siendo el tráiler de la nueva operación, ¿vale? Pero es que aquí hay muchas novedades que no salen en el tráiler, ¿vale? Tenemos aquí el nuevo contenido que saldrá mañana, el nuevo especialista. Ah, por cierto, en el tráiler aquí se ve, al final, ¿vale? Aquí se ve que van a meter un evento en Blackout de... van a meter el mapa de Novedades, ¿vale? De la cárcel. Lo van a meter en Blackout. Y también un mapa también de noche en Blackout, ¿vale? Así que esto es lo que pone aquí de New Blackout Experience Redacted. Esto es el mapa de Alcatraz en Blackout. Y también el mapa también de noche. Pero bueno, mañana tenemos el nuevo especialista, el Outrider. Tenemos también cambios en el mapa con nuevos vehículos. Y en marzo tendremos también el evento que hubo también en World War 2, que metieron armas nuevas, que es el evento este de April... no, ¿cómo se llamaba este evento? Bueno... Día de Acción de Gracias, creo que se llama, algo así. Pero bueno, tenemos un nuevo evento en marzo, ¿vale? Nuevos armas y cosméticos para el Black Market, el mercado negro. Y esta semana tendremos la Outrider modo liga, nuevas armas, una recámara y ajustes en las armas. Durante la temporada, ¿vale? Hasta abril, que dura la temporada. Durante la temporada tendremos el modo de juego de infectado, Barebones, que es lo que significa, Prop Hunt, que estaba ya en World War 2, que era un modo de juego muy divertido, y Fractura, aparte de nuevos modos de juego. Esto que pone aquí en naranja, que pone In Season, saldrá durante la temporada, ¿vale? No saldrá mañana. Mañana en Blackout, prestigios, nuevas localizaciones, nuevos personajes, el modo de juego de persecución, que es el coche de policía, y nuevos vehículos. Y durante la temporada... una actualización del mapa de primavera, el modo hardcore, nuevo equipamiento, el evento que como comento es el mapa de noche de Blackout y modo de Death en Blackout y nuevos modos de juego también. Y mañana en Zombies, pues un nuevo Gauntlet, un nuevo perk, nuevas armas y durante la temporada tendremos aquí pues otro Gauntlet, bueno, migración de host, nuevos elixires y pausas, ¿vale? Mañana... Ojo a esto, mañana tendremos dos nuevos mapas multijugador, Casino y Lockup, un nuevo personaje, y en marzo, que no hay fecha todavía, pero en marzo tendremos un nuevo mapa de zombies, que así puedo hacer aquí zoom, ¿vale? Así puedo hacer aquí algo de zoom. Se ve como que es en Egipto, ¿vale? El mapa tiene bastante buena pinta, se ve como un zombie calavera de estos de egipcios, así que tiene bastante buena pinta también ese mapa de zombies. ¿Qué más? También nos dan también acceso también a los anteriores mapas multijugador y los mapas también de zombies, ¿vale? Aquí pone lo que va a venir siguiente. Después de todo esto de aquí, como está aquí del nuevo pase, del nuevo DLC, pues contando esto, van a venir 8 mapas multijugador más, un nuevo personaje de Blackout y 2 mapas zombies también, ¿vale? Las operaciones siguientes será la de primavera, la operación número 4, en verano la operación número 5 y en otoño la operación número 6, ¿vale? Mañana tendremos esto, aquí pone las fechas de mañana y... tendremos el nuevo especialista, el nuevo modo, armas, multijugador, el Blackout lo mismo también, prestigios, nuevas zonas, Blackout también, lo que también he comentado también. Y en el nuevo mercado negro de mañana tendremos 100 niveles, 3 armas desbloqueables, nuevo personaje de Blackout, nuevos camuflajes, reactivos también, nuevos trajes y nuevos packs cosméticos para el Blackout. Y aquí ponen más. Y ojo a esto, que tendremos un sistema de suministros que vuelve el Blackjack de Black Ops 3, ¿vale? El 20 de febrero tendremos una cara familiar que hace aparición en la nueva operación. El jueves tendremos modo liga. Y el viernes el modo de juego que comento de persecución para el Blackout. En multijuego tenemos mañana la Outrider, aquí sale aquí la Outrider. Y las nuevas armas son un nuevo subfusil, que hay gameplay ya por ahí, ahora enseñaré un gameplay si puedo. Nueva escopeta. Y una bolsa de dinero, ¿vale? Aquí se ve bien la nueva zona de Blackout, que esto es Standoff, ¿vale? Outlaw de Black Ops 3 o Standoff Black Ops 2. Y aquí abajo está Buried, ¿vale? Tiene muy buena pinta. Y ojito a esto, porque aquí está el nuevo sistema de mercado negro, que esto es donde quería llegar, ¿vale? El mercado negro tendrá suministros que se conseguirán mediante jugando partidas, ¿vale? Por lo cual tendremos el nuevo especialista, las nuevas armas en los 100 niveles de Blackout, del mercado negro, perdón. Pero tenemos también el nuevo sistema de suministros que podemos conseguir por más trajes y nuevos camuflajes para la KN y el Outlaw, ¿vale? Así que sí, mañana parece que nos van a incentivar más ya a jugar. Aquí se ven los nuevos armas, o sea, los nuevos mapas. Aquí los nuevos trajes de Blackout y poco más. Vamos a ver ahora el directo de Treyarch, que empieza en 5 minutos, ¿vale? Por lo cual, ahí tenéis todas las novedades, ¿vale? Que ha habido. Vamos a ver más aquí en profundidad, mientras que empieza el directo de Treyarch, que empieza ya, que en 5 minutos. Las novedades, ¿vale? Aquí pone que el directo empieza en 7 minutos. No sé si están en directo ya. Sí. En 5 minutos empieza el directo, así que vale. Vale, aquí tenemos el nuevo aspecto. Aquí tenemos los nuevos trajes también del mercado negro, ¿vale? El Hudson este de verano. Un traje así también muy chulo. Aquí está el nuevo arma. Y la nueva también escopeta también. Y el traje también está muy guapo también, ¿vale? Tenemos también, aquí pone, también tendremos, durante la temporada tendremos también nuevas alternaciones de los mapas. Que hay, pues igual, pues eso, como tuvimos con Firing Range de noche, pues tenemos también otros mapas también así, ¿vale? El mercado negro, aquí ya esto ya hemos visto. Y aquí se ve lo de que comento de Mob of the Death en Blackout, ¿vale? Aquí se ven los paracaídas, aquí se ve la gente cayendo al mapa. Y también está también de noche, así que por dentro de poco tendremos este mapa de Mob of the Death en Blackout y de noche. Así que vamos a esperar a que empiece el directo. 5 minutos. Todo esto mañana lo estaré streameando yo a las 7 de la tarde de la española, ¿vale? No sé cuándo se pondrá la actualización, pero supongo que a las 7 horas española estaré yo ahí dándole caña, ¿vale? Jugaremos un buen ratito. Encima, pues parece que te incentivan también a jugar. De mientras, vamos a ver aquí, por ejemplo, a un youtuber de Korean Savage se llama, que enseña un gameplay de la nueva arma, ¿vale? Aquí está el gameplay. Aquí se ve el nuevo mapa. Esta la nueva arma es su fusil, ¿vale? Esta arma que es las consideraciones es su fusil. Este es su fusil y el nuevo mapa, ¿vale? Su fusil, bueno, no está en el otro mundo, pero tampoco es tan malo, ¿vale? Aquí ves también la habilidad del nuevo especialista, que es como una cámara y donde puedes marcar a la gente y le ves a través de las paredes. Aquí se ve mejor eso, el nuevo arma. No sé si enseña también aquí la escopeta. Aquí vamos a ver el arco del Outrider. Vale, aquí vais a ver el arco del Outrider ahora. Que lo saca ahora, aquí veis el arco. Está bastante guapo, la verdad, el arco. Que explota y tal, la verdad tiene bastante buena pinta. Ahí lo veis. Mola bastante el nuevo arco, ¿eh? Ya ves si enseña el nuevo... Vale, aquí va a enseñar la escopeta, ¿vale? Y el nuevo mapa también de policía, ¿vale? La escopeta, a ver cómo es. Como ves, es muy parecido a la SPAS, ¿vale? De Black Ops 1. Es automática y revienta bastante por lo que veo. Así que hay que tener cuidado con esta escopeta, que puede estar muy chetada, ¿vale? De forma está viendo el mapa este de la policía, que es chiquitín. La verdad que el de casino era muy grande y este es bastante pequeñito, así que eso está guay. Un poco así de equilibrio entre los mapas. Pero bueno, tiene buena pinta, el mapilla tiene bastante buena pinta, la verdad. Mañana eso, estaremos mañana en directo probando todo, ¿vale? Subiendo niveles del mercado negro y tal. Y jugando a tope, gente. Con el tema de los suministros y tal, pueden hacer que vuelva a la Black Ops 4 a jugar regularmente, ¿eh? Porque llevo tiempo sin jugar. Y me apetece jugar de verdad, pero no había contenido hasta ahora. Así que ahora sí que hay contenido y estaremos a tope ahí viendo todo lo que hay, ¿vale? Bueno, todo eso lo veremos ahora mejor en el directo de Treyarch, supongo. Pero este es el mapa ya así de... Este es el mapilla nuevo, ¿vale? ¿Cuánto queda el directo de Treyarch? Quedan 2 minutos, lo que me da tiempo a leerme un cigarrito. Y... ver el directito, ¿vale? La verdad es que tiene bastante buena pinta, la verdad, ¿eh? Tiene buena pinta. A ver si enseñan sobre todo el tema de suministros nuevos, cómo funciona y tal. Está bastante guay. A ver qué enseñan, chicos. Tengo curiosidad, sobre todo de ver el suministros, A ver cómo funcionan los suministros. Vale, empieza ya. Me voy a poner aquí el tráiler, supongo. Oh, ¿un tráiler nuevo? La música de zombies. El trailer supongo que será otra vez el mismo si lo repiten. Esto ya lo hemos visto, así que no hay ninguna novedad. A ver si hablan ya y tal. Tiene buena pinta, mañana estamos a tope jugándolo, De hecho, luego pondré la play un rato para jugar con mis amigos, porque me ha vuelto las ganas de jugar a Black Ops 4, la verdad. A bailable, no.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Raffis, and welcome to Treyarch on this gorgeous President's Day. What you just saw was the new trailer for Operation 3.
Bueno, todo lo importante lo voy a traducir, lo importante, ¿vale?
Tomorrow first on PlayStation 4. And to discuss all of that and more, I'm here with the original Motley crew. Dan Bunting, Tony Flame, Matt Schranz. We're going to dive into all things coming during this operation. Guys, thanks for being here.
Pleasure to be here. Great to be here.
No. Dial it back down from an 11. All right.
It's Monday morning.
It is.
Asking a lot of us.
It is Monday. It is Monday. All right, Dan, wanted to kind of kick things off with you, if you could. Last day of Operation 2, heading into Operation 3, Grand Heist tomorrow. Shapes and colors. Remind us about the season structure. Tell us what is to come, and
would love to.
Bueno, dice que básicamente que haga un poquitín de.
It's the last day of season 2, so get out there
and
finish that season out, because tomorrow it all kicks off with Operation 3 Grand Heist, and this is our biggest operation yet. This is something that the team has been working on really hard for the last few months to bring this to the fans. It is the beginning of the season tomorrow. That means that there is a ton of content and events planned throughout the season.
Dicen que mañana es el principio, pero que van a sacar más cosas durante el evento, ¿vale? Que es mañana son antes del principio, mañana.
Is going to be available from day one. Some of it's going to be come throughout the season. Some of it's going to come a little bit later. Some of it's going to come every week. So we have a lot of exciting action.
O sea, que quieren cada semana meter cosillas nuevas, ¿vale? Esto está guay.
Well, to maybe for anybody that wants to sort of take a little bit of a deeper dive, we just released a blog post that has a roadmap for the operation.
Correct, yeah.
So you get a bit of a feel for sort of generally what is coming when, but also get a good feel for the fact that, like, you know, we've got spring, summer, fall operations planned.
That's right. 6 operations planned throughout the year, and those are up on the blog post as you mentioned.
Esto lo hemos comentado ya.
This week is when it all kicks off. So I want to kind of walk our fans through the series of events that are going to happen this week. Tomorrow is the big update. Of course, for multiplayer, the big thing that you're going to notice right off the bat is Outrider's coming. Outrider is a fan favorite specialist from Black Ops 3. I think a lot of people have been asking for Outrider to make her return in this game. We have done some overhauls to her mechanics. Of course, the Sparrow is a favorite. I mean, that's like one of the most rewarding weapons that we've probably ever released in a game.
Yeah.
And we've made it even better this time around. One of the big changes you're going to notice with the Sparrow is that it performs just as good when firing from the hip as it does when ADS. The benefit that ADS gets you is you get to get zoomed in for longer range combat. But that just makes it feel like it's just much more satisfying, rewarding, and more flexible. You can use in all different situations. Her Hawk is the new piece of equipment that she has, and that's a little mini drone. So Hawk and Sparrow are her 2 items. The Hawk you can fly, park it in a location, and it will automatically tag any enemies that walk through that camera's field of view from wherever you've left it parked.
We also see the return of party games.
That's right, one in the chamber, first one tomorrow, which I'm sure Matt will go into in a little bit more detail. That's one of our favorite modes from Black Ops 1, and when we did the party games back then. And kick that off. It's a very different way to play. It's kind of like a mix between slower and tactical.
Está hablando del modo uno a recámara, ¿vale?
It's pretty crazy those tense moments when you're one-on-one with somebody who you don't know if they have a pistol, if they have a bullet or not in their chamber. And then of course there's a series of others that are
que mañana lo probaremos también en directo también.
Blog. And yeah, it's really exciting. That's going to kick off tomorrow.
Well, I mean, while we've still got plenty to talk about in the Operation 3 front, there's still a pretty large tuning pass for tomorrow as well, which we want to get into. Now, just to kind of, I mean, what are we forgetting? It's like we've got a couple new weapons coming tomorrow as well?
Yeah, we've got some new weapons coming. We've got the Rampage full-auto shotgun, which is a lot of fun. We haven't had a full-auto shotgun in this game yet, so in playtesting it, that's always a tough weapon to get right, but it's so satisfying.
Está hablando de las nuevas armas, ¿vale? Aquí se ve la escopeta.
So we're really excited to get that in players' hands. It's got its own unique set of attachments, just like all the other guns, so it indexes a little bit more on handling, actually, and it's got more of a traditional pellet mechanic where you want to get more pellets on target in order to maximize
que parece muy citada,
is actually going to come into effect more than with some of the other shotguns we have.
And then there's the Switchblade.
Yeah, we got the Switchblade, which is a really fun SMG. It actually folds into kind of like a briefcase sort of shape and back again, so it fits in with the heist theme. It's because of its folding nature, modular nature, it's more of a lightweight.
Parece muy rota la escopeta,
very fast handling, faster reload.
Mucho daño y muy rápida,
some of
tío.
the balance changes we've done to make sure that there's that it has a little bit of room for it. There's room to get some of the other guns to focus on their core strengths and make some more room for the new Switchblade. So it's going to have its own place within the SMG class that's getting a balance pass as part of this operation as well.
And I mean, so especially whenever you get into you know, map locations like Casino and sort of fitting the theme of Grand Heist, we've got a new melee weapon as well that fits right into the mix.
That's right. Grab the cash, grab the money bag, and then smack players in the face with it. There's
a nuevo arma también, la bolsa de dinero,
we're just
que bueno,
thinking of ways to have fun with the operation. The new melee weapon. That is the new melee weapon. It's a bag of cash. Smack people with it. A couple coins might fall out. So it's a lot of fun. Just to run around the map with that thing.
You know,
Cha-ching.
For the next operation, maybe we could live stream that creative brainstorm, sort of like how
you don't want to see this.
Yes.
how we get to that one. Anything else that we want to cover on the multiplayer front before we dive into tuning pass stuff?
Well, one thing we kind of breezed over, but there's 2 brand new maps that are coming with this operation to multiplayer. One is called Lockup. The other one is called Casino, and Lockup is set in an LAPD kind of police headquarters that's been assaulted. The bad guys are trying to
Aquí está también el nuevo mapa también, que se enseñaba antes con el nuevo
There's some
subfusil.
picture behind it.
Que bueno, el nuevo
And of course,
subfusil,
casino is as its
ni
name
tan
would
bien ni
imply,
tan
is
mal.
a casino.
Sin más, un poco sin más el nuevo
so
subfusil, la verdad.
Just explain that to
Just
me.
right on the
okay.
nose.
Right on. Okay, got it.
And
Reading
it's
into it.
based in Monaco, so it's kind of got that European flair, very ornate, very opulent kind of old world sort of casino building.
Este mapa tiene pinta guapa,
F1 racing happening all around it. So it's pretty awesome. These two maps are very different. If you look at the difference between the two, Lockup really is about verticality, rooftops, fighting high-low, up and down, through some winding passageways.
Well, we're going to jump in with Miles here pretty soon.
Okay.
He's
giving you the overview.
Yeah, exactly.
Se pueden abrir puertas y tal,
So,
bueno, está curioso.
Yes.
So one more thing, just I don't know if we made the point or not, but the operation is going to be going on for like
Couple months, yeah.
Couple months.
It's going to be going through
Yeah.
March and into April as well.
So what that means for us is just there's going to be more things coming throughout the operation, right? There's a lot of stuff dropping right here at the start, and then of course we've got more. We can't say what those things are or whatever, but just
Sure, we'll have plenty of teasers
There's,
along
there's
the
a
way.
lot coming.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
Sí, que van a meter más armas nuevas y
All
tal.
right. Well, then let's jump into tuning pass stuff. So, in addition to Operation 3, there's plenty of updates planned for tomorrow. We will have some stuff to talk about a little bit later on the Blackout front with multiplayer. What's in store?
Well, so we put the balance changes that we're doing out actually on Friday. So they're out there. Some people may have seen them, you may not. So you can check out the Reddit blog post to see that. And of course, we'll go over at a higher level here rather than going through every single change. But really, the way we've actually for weapon balance, from how we look at it in the analytics.
Bueno, está hablando ahora del cambio de las armas que van a meter, el buffo y el nerfeo.
In the past few months. So we've been a little bit hands off, but at the same time, we want to freshen the game up. We want to address the issues that the community has been talking about and experiencing. And really, this game, we're taking more of an approach of a community focused, more focus on the community feedback than just kind of data-driven.
Yeah.
And we want to hear what people have to say. We want to hear what their take on the various issues of the game are. And that's been actually really successful, and it's been great to get all the feedback from the community. So we've been reaching out a lot, and so that helped inform on kind of not just like what we do exactly, but how we do it, or just get extra opinions on this pass.
Has the community of fans had much feedback?
Yeah, well, it's great. It's more data really, like
Yeah.
every single. But we get to read it individually, and kind of there's sometimes a little bit of detail that's hidden can actually be a gem of insight. You never know where it might come from. So one thing that we heard a lot of, number one, was the Titan. That was the number one piece of feedback we got. A lot of people love using the Titan, but it's as far as our whole player base goes, there's people aren't quite happy with where it's at right now. So we're going to make some adjustments to that, bring the Titan kind of where players' expectation is for it, and we're doing that by a couple different ways. Really, it's about making it feel fair in a heads-up gunfight, so you feel like you have a good chance against it. And also, some players have, we've had the issue of it taking down score streaks a little too quickly, so we're taking down its ability to do that a little bit. Still going to be strong. We want to keep the core feel of it. That's important of it, right?
Absolutely.
That the guns still feel powerful. So the Titan was kind of the first one from the community perspective, and it matched up what we were seeing. So that was an easy one to knock out.
If I'm not mistaken, there were a couple, and this kind of gets us into sort of the competitive feature set. There were a couple updates made.
¿Van a hablar de
to
zombies?
No.
No.
Sort of,
O sea, sí, pero no.
We wanted to make sure that we got out in front of this week's CWL action as well.
De
And it's
zombies
probably
hablarán
worth
al final,
mentioning as we kind of head into
supongo.
these updates that League Play goes live on Thursday.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, the big play's going live.
So SOG9.
De zombies,
what else
realmente
is-
el nuevo mapa sale en marzo.
Now this will affect. Now talking about assault rifles and SMGs kind of as a class, right?
Yeah.
Because it all kind of ties in together. That's
Sale en
gonna
marzo el nuevo mapa.
the
No sé
majority
si
of
hablan de él
right there
algo.
between those two
Supongo que igual
classes.
den algún
So
detalle.
we really wanted to get
Pero
the
trailer
balance
no
up between
creo,
those classes. We like how many.
Sale en marzo
there's
el nuevo
about
mapa.
4 to 3 or so ARs to SMGs. We like that balance. That feels good for players. But within the class, we're seeing like too many Spitfires, right, or too many SOGs. And then on the AR
Lo que sí sale mañana es el Gauntlet nuevo de
and when we
5,
also
creo
see
que
that
es.
mirrored in the public match and the competitive play,
Y-
that's when it's a
y
sign that
poco
there might
más.
be a problem there. We feel like we're really getting it right when the pros are using different guns than are popular in pubs, because that means those are the skill-based guns. So that's where we like to be, ideally. And we see that with some guns, like the ICR, for example, is really popular with the pros. So when it comes to that, we took that pass to balance across those classes, and there was an opportunity there as well to address some feedback that was coming straight from the pros. specifically on the SOG. So the pros are so good that they can notice when the speed gets a little bit too fast for when it starts to mess with their gun mechanics. And the SOG is actually having that issue.
Este es el modo liga, ¿vale?
Space
Está dando el modo
movement
liga ahora
speed,
mismo.
stock movement speed, and we're getting direct feedback. There's a whole loop of things that the pros know more about there. And we wanted to address that. So we took down the speeds of the SOG down to a reasonable amount for an SMG. Actually, as a gun, it was faster than all the other SMGs, which was something we were toying with this archetype. It doesn't need that in order to be good, so we're going to bring that back down. That's also going to help with the overall pacing of the game for competitive and pubs. So that's really mainly, the SOG was mainly about its speed. Other than that, it's going to play very much the same. So when we take the SOG down a little bit, we have to think about the next gun that all the pros.
¿Y cuándo sale en PC? No. Como siempre, esto siempre lo estás preguntando y siempre lo digo y siempre todo el mundo lo dice. Sale una semana más tarde todo. Sale una semana más tarde, todo. O sea, lo que saldrá mañana en Play 4 saldrá una semana más tarde en Xbox y en PC. Así que, y cuando salga el nuevo mapa de zombies, saldrá una semana antes en Play y luego más tarde en PC. Todo.
We've got Miles in a pre-recorded segment kind of walking us through Casino and Lockup in greater detail.
Y dar gracias porque años anteriores era un mes más tarde, ¿eh? O sea, yo recuerdo eso, que en Call of Duty War 2 y tal, era un mes más tarde, un mes, ojo, no una semana. O sea, tenéis como suerte de que hayan... A ver, para mí, de lujo que saldrá en todas las plataformas al mismo tiempo, ¿no? Pero como viene exclusiva, tenéis realmente suerte de que no sea un mes.
Very specific, what is FMJ2 doing to certain vehicles? So we've increased some vehicle health, like the strafe run, for example. On the strafe run again, it still wasn't quite hitting our targets. So we're doing a big buff pass more than anything for the score streaks. We made the cost adjustments earlier in the year, I believe it was. So we're still just fine-tuning the score streaks, and I think a big one for the score streaks that I've seen some positive feedback on was that score streak kills in modes with friendly fire, hardcore, your Pro Series mosh pit. Those won't actually contribute towards the team kill kick limit. There's a lot of times that you're afraid to call in a strafe run in hardcore because it could potentially get you kicked. So we're that's one of those times where we've kind of held sacred to that, and you know what, we're gonna make a change there, and so you're not gonna get kicked with score streak kills after tomorrow. There may be some additional punishments needed there if it becomes a problem, but we're gonna put that out and see how that goes. So
Está hablando de las rachas y tal.
A few buffs here and there for score streaks. So I'm hoping that's going to be good. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Then on the specialist side as well, we got a few changes coming in. Consistent feedback we've been getting, things we've been feeling here in the studio. Some of the specialist abilities that are getting more and more play, that there's not enough counterplay there. So we're focusing on making sure that you can counter the abilities that are frustrating you. So 9-bang, we got a couple new ways to fight against that. You can change stances, you can see a little bit better through it. You won't put the tactical mask is going to be a more effective counter. The seeker drone, getting very popular. That's going to, if you shoot that thing with a shot, you're going to be able to take it out. Thing's small enough, it should go down to a bullet. That's how we felt in play testing, so it feels like there is a proper counter. So that's one of the changes too. And of course we have Outrider coming in, who's really going to mix up the whole specialist meta. So we got to see how she comes in, where the cards fall. She's just been a lot of fun to develop. She's kind of actually been easy to develop because she's just been really fun right out of the gate. We just make tweaks and everyone's been enjoying playing with her. And I think the secret to that is that not only is the Sparrow super satisfying to use, it's got a scope on it now. You can get a long range, you get that zoom. And it's just overall more polished and smooth than it's been before. But her Hawk drone is so satisfying to use. You really get a different gameplay flow and pace to throw out your drone, fly it around, pilot it to just wherever you want, which based on the game mode or the map or your play style, you can use it differently depending on any of those. And not only that, but you put it there, and now the enemies actually have a really interesting way to interact with that. It's super satisfying to see an Outrider flying her camera around and you shoot it out of the sky, right? So there's some good back and forth there. She's fun to play. She's also just as fun to fight against.
Cool. All right. Well, again, just to kind of reiterate, we've got the blog post for Operation 3 that has gone live this morning on Treyarch.com. You can find it there with the roadmap for the entire operation. We Unfortunately, our producer Miles Leslie was not able to join us today, but we did have a chance to catch up with him the other day, and we were able to tape a segment for him to talk us through Casino and Lockup, the two multiplayer maps that you'll get with Operation 3 and the Black Ops Pass. And with that, we'll throw it back over to Miles. Miles, thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us about the multiplayer maps coming in Operation 3.
Habla de los mapas, ¿no?
Watch this, it'll be coming out tomorrow on Tuesday. High level, what's coming in Grand Heist?
There's a lot of content, so with the MP map specifically, we've got two brand new experiences that we're super excited to talk about with Lockup and then Casino, and then all of the, different weapons and the war zone, the blackout changes that we've got coming out. There's just a lot going on in the Grand Heist, and what we really try to do with the operations in Grand Heist and with the previous Absolute Zero was really try to wrap it in something and give it some theming that we can try to attach to and really embellish and get the team kind of engaged in. I think the two MP maps, specifically talking about those, really lean into that idea where it's the Grand Heist and we literally have a police station and a casino that is being robbed. So it feels like it fits perfectly.
Well, I mean, the team has always done a pretty amazing job with sort of the depth of the lore for their multiplayer maps. Give us the backstories on Lockup and Casino. What are we getting ourselves into?
Lots of things, lots of trouble. So we'll start with Lockup, which is really cool and different, is we've never done a police station. And it really started from this idea of, so we talk about verticality, and we've had verticality in maps, and even if you go to Elevation, which we just released previously, is where we really wanted to get high to low consistent fighting. Give you examples, we wanted a team to have to own a roof, right? We wanted to have to king of the hill. We've never kind of done that before. And this idea started to just kind of flow as like, hey, this police station could work where, bad guys have taken over.
De momento nada interesante, ¿eh?
And they kind of owned the roof. And now it's about attacking the roof in lots of different ways. So the hook of that really is getting on the roof and the verticality to and from it.
Veamos si puede haber sorpresa a lo mejor de Blande anunciando mañana. Tiene que meter el Nuketown, que se rumora tanto de Nuketown, zombies. Sería una buena sorpresa, pero no tiene pinta,
And the rooms are connected, so it feels very different because there's a lot of long range, but there's also ducking and weaving behind slot machines and roulette tables, is really embellishing and using a lot of things in the map.
Well, I know the team has, been really kind of.
Ahora mismo lo que le falta al juego será perfecto, que sacasen cada mes o así un mapa multijugador remasterizado. Yo que sé, que en marzo con el nuevo evento metan, yo que sé, Raid remasterizado, ¿sabéis? Algo así. Es lo que le falta, yo creo, que al juego. Para ser ya más redondo, ¿vale? Porque realmente ahora mismo está bien, ¿eh? Con lo que van a meter mañana y tal. Por cierto, un segundo.
And then get the kind of foundation down, and then we'll start, start playing Dom, because then it's really going to anchor the middle, right, where that ends up, because not always it is in the middle. Side lanes, hardpoint, obviously, because you're going to get the entire map overall, and then you start peppering in all the rest, search and destroy, everything else. They really do influence it, and we really try to make the right changes per game.
Un segundo, gente, ahora vengo.
That comes with Lockup is, we tried a lot of different Dom spots specifically, and it's in the middle, right? So you've got this roof basically, and there's these large windows, and you're looking down, and it can feel like a death pit, though there's a lot of ways to kind of get these guys out of the roof. And it feels like it's once you actually take the B flag, it's like a sense of accomplishment that I think other B flags may not have had in the past. And we're really trying to push that as a sense of like, I did it, right? Like we did it, right? Like, hey, Torque, good job with the the barricade and the spawn beacon back over there. Is like there's a sense of let's use all of the things to really have to accomplish this goal.
Well, I think you've started getting into my next question. It's like, if I'm a fan of Treyarch map design, like what are you showing me? What are you giving me that I haven't gotten before?
Yeah, for sure. So we always start with our 3-lane base design, and that's the foundation because we know that that's a jumping off point. But with every new DLC map, we want to push it further. So this verticality in roof is really, really different. Is you really need to take the roof to be successful. And it's the central building, and there's lots of ways up, and there's other roofs that shoot to it as well, and you're weaving in and through the police station as well, and it's all in chaos, by the way, because it's been under attack. Basically, these high criminals have basically attacked the police station overall and just caused destruction. But the gameplay is really interesting because a lot of the sides have a lot of opportunities for longer range, and you can try to be sneaky as well.
De momento muy aburrido esto, ¿eh? Si lo ibas a ver, no haría directo, de verdad.
Sort of elements with the roof is it's a one-way drop. So if you drop into the building, you can't get back up unless you're ruined. So there's a commitment there that we kind of haven't had before. It's like if I go down, I'm not going to be able to get back up, and there's a there's a sense of like, am I leaving the power position? But it's also a cool bail because you get that like blockbuster movie moment where you're like, hey, I got to get out of here, and you're jumping out of the window, right? So there's some cool stuff there.
Nice. Well, there's some surprises in store with Casino too.
Yes.
The other day we were kind of talking about some of the map stuff, and you had mentioned in passing that you've been involved with like the development of about 200 maps single-handedly. All right.
No, there are lots of more. Be clear, lots of people work on these.
I was joking. I was joking. But like, I mean, you've seen some maps.
I've seen some maps.
And
yes.
Casino's got some new twists and turns.
It does. This I can say is, it's true. I have worked on multiplayer since World at War and been involved in MP and really, been involved with the team on crafting all these. And Casino's actually the hardest map I can say I've ever made. And we went through a lot of iterations.
Que estaba muy grande este mapa, ¿eh? Está bastante bien hecho encima.
We really wanted to like challenge ourselves, and even with the, you talk about 3 lanes and what that can be as a foundation is.
Este mapa es muy grande, ¿eh? Está muy bien hecho, la verdad. Se lo han currado aquí.
A larger map, but also a sense of the lanes aren't separated, right? So the middle is all one central. We're showing it now. So if there's one central, lane that actually feels like, it could almost encompass 3 lanes basically. And we've given you ways as you head down through these slot machines in the central bar. There's some of this stuff right here, and weaving your way towards this bar that you can hold down, and then move into some of these side rooms that have some of the more like roulette tables and poker tables and stuff like that. But the main thing is that it's really large, and basically on each side of the middle lane is like it's long range here, or you can rotate around the bar and it's shorter range. So we've never had within a single lane this way to like quickly maneuver in and out of short and long.
Yeah.
And the ranges are really long. It's very different, and that caused a huge challenge to us because trying to really embellish the environment and use those elements has been proved to be very difficult. Like slot machines, right? They're not built to be used as cover, right? And set up good engagements, or craps tables or roulette tables is like, how do you use those things? Because if not, you're not doing justice to the casino element. So we really try to find the right way to do that, and that took a lot of challenge to nail down. I think we rebooted this map like 3 times basically, where it was like, okay, this has got something, and then it just wasn't enough. Okay, let's redo. Just redo. And that's what we do, but this one has been very, very difficult. But all in all, we're super proud of this one, and the team has really resounded to where we're like constantly pushing those, like, it's not good enough, we got to do more. And it's like, okay, let's tackle that challenge in a way.
Yeah. Not really sure why I didn't get the memo, but I mean, when it comes to holding down a bar, I'm your man. Okay.
We got all the rep from you.
All right. So, I mean, just kind of as we kind of wrap it up, high level, like what do you hope people take away from Lockup and Casino?
Yeah, the main thing there is I hope people, when they dive in, really get the sense of how different these maps are, right? Is from the outside and looking at them, it can look more
Qué
like
directo más aburrido, si lo llegas a ver no lo hago.
Twists and turns and different experiences that you can have, that it's really going to encourage you and in a way force you, like we're talking about making that choice on the roof, to play differently. And I think that's the main thing we're really trying to go for, is you could play a lot of the maps how you want to play, right? Like, I'm a creature of habit, I love my creative class, I love my setup, and you could do that in these maps and be successful. But if you learn the environment and you learn the engagements and you learn some of these really different things we've got and start changing your play style and using the different weapons and equipment, you're going to be even more successful. And that's kind of that, like, that feeling we want is like, okay, I tried something new, that worked, okay, this worked, and it's almost like you would have classes per map, right? Is like, oh, this is casino, let me have this loadout. Oh, this is lockup, let me have this. That's the main thing, is this feeling of it's very different, but it still obviously feels very Treyarch and Black Ops 4 overall.
Nice. Miles, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Venga, va.
That segment with Miles may have been pre-recorded, but right now I am here live and in the flesh
Bueno, Jason Blandel.
And Craig
A
to
ver.
catch up on all things zombies.
Esa camiseta ya da que pensar.
John, it's good to be here.
All right, so for zombies, in today's blog post we mentioned that there's a new experience coming in March, which we'll get to in a moment. But we've got some we've got the name to reveal. We've got some stuff for today.
Some stuff.
So
It might be an idea to kind of recap a little bit.
Están
where
troleando
I
esta
like where you're
gente.
going. It's like you're in my head thinking my thoughts. Go with that.
See that? That was me transmitting
Yeah,
the
yeah,
idea to
it
you, John.
worked.
So,
Están
you know,
troleando,
obviously,
tío.
you know, with launch of Black Ops 4, we've kind of had more maps than we've ever had at this stage. So it's, you know, been really funny that we had our 2 Chaos maps at launch and our 2 Ether maps. And then we had the Dead of the Night, which is a little bit of a palate cleanser, but now it's time to announce that after all the craziness that the characters went through in Voyage of Despair and 9, they are now going to be going somewhere else, and that is going to be the focus of our next map. Now, what's fun about this is, with all those launch maps, things were a little bit crazy for the characters and the community, but now those guys know what's going on a little bit more, so they are going somewhere new, somewhere they're already on the journey to, and people have seen the outros, will have an idea about this. We are going to Greece. And
Manda
we're
Grecia.
specifically going to Delphi. Delphi! What do you know about Delphi, Jason?
It's in Greece.
It is. Right. Plenty more facts like that coming up.
Delfos.
It's called expert knowledge.
But what, now that people
Van a ir
and the
aquí, ¿vale?
characters understand
En el mapa de zombies
rules
nuevo.
of the Chaos
Tiene buena
story a little
pinta,
bit more, we're going to do something interesting here, because we are actually going to be visiting a world where a Sentinel trial has been running for a very, very, very long time, because as some people will discover, Sentinel trials
Va a haber
tend to end
ruinas.
when they are completed or when everybody dies. So in our new level, there are some other characters knocking about,
Yes.
and you're going to have to find out about them and what role they play and why this trial is continuing and where it's ultimately going to lead them.
Because all our previous maps, we saw the trial
Oh,
start.
yeah.
So this is the first one where this trial's been running, as Craig said, for a very long time.
All right.
Long time.
So in addition to we teased the key art this morning. We've got an image of that
already?
that Tommy can throw up, but we also have a
Ahí se
name.
ve.
There we
There we go,
go.
lovely.
Boom. Ancient
Ancient.
Evil.
Ancient Evil.
Ancient Evil.
Ancient
Yeah, like I
Evil.
said, a long time.
Pinta guapo, la verdad, el mapa, eh.
Means
We were like, how do we hint to the
get the
audience?
thesaurus out, Jason.
Yes.
Pinta bastante guapo el mapa,
So
eh.
yeah, as I say, this one is it's the kind of map that I really like, where there's a lot of events and characters and significant story shifts within the map. I mean, going back to what we were talking about before, you know, there's some things hanging over our characters. If you saw the outros of Voyage of Despair and 9. And all of those things will come into play. You know, people they've been under the influence of drugs, but some of them, as players will know, are also under the influence of some other forces, and all of that is going to come to bear in Ancient Evil.
So I believe that there's a little bit of news that you wanted to share in terms of sort of the twisting and turning of the storyline and sort of where it's headed.
Yeah, so this map represents the last map of the Chaos story. For
El
this
último
season.
mapa.
So
Jason, where are you going with this?
So
What could it mean?
So this is the cliffhanger here.
Maybe a step too far, but it's cool.
Va a ser el último mapa del caos de Black Ops 4, eh.
So this is the
Significa que habrá dos mapas de
This is
Leather.
the last one of the Chaos story for this season.
For this season.
So the next two, so going into our DLC 3 and DLC 4, will be back to the Ether.
Ahí está.
It's one of those things. You know how
Notición.
Jason and I have often said we like to have our cake and eat it.
Notición.
It's nice the fact that we're going to have.
Los siguientes dos mapas van a ser de
Yep.
el líder, Aether, ¿vale?
Because we still enjoy them.
Yeah, we like our cake and eat it, and a
Yes.
small cake factory on the side
And
as
a
well.
O sea, este mapa del caos va a ser el
So there's
último,
all
no de la
that
historia del
cake
caos,
coming in March.
sino el último del
That
caos de
doesn't
Black Ops 4.
necessarily mean that there
Y en el
aren't
DLC 3 y
updates,
4
double negative, sorry.
tendremos
There are updates
mapas
coming
del
tomorrow,
Aether.
when
Cupcakes.
we got some updates coming tomorrow.
We're just going to shout bakery things out.
DEFCON 5, go.
DEFCON 5,
Gauntlet.
new gauntlet for Classified, and then we also have a new gauntlet for Blood of the Dead as well, which is Helcatraz. Interesting little story there. Helcatraz was actually the dev name of Mob of the Dead when we first made it, way back when. So we thought as a little homage, we would
And homage
call
to
it.
ourselves.
Yeah, there's actually a picture of sitting around the office that says Helcatraz that we mocked up when we were thinking of Mob of the Dead in the very beginning. So there we go.
I mean, there's some footage on here of the gauntlets, but
Yeah.
one of the things that appeals to me about the gauntlets, and I think I've made no mistake about not being a particularly good player, I'm not as bad as sometimes we've said. But the fun thing about the gauntlets is Jason's nodding, that's not fair. The fun thing about the gauntlets is it does
tiene la nueva de vida también, la nueva de
some of
vida.
the features and bosses and enemies and stuff that they normally wouldn't get to in the course of amateur play, shall we say. So, you know, it can really help educate you about a level as well. So that's one of the fun things I like about gauntlets.
Yeah, and it's, you know, so when we first put gauntlets out, we didn't know how it was going to be received, and we got an overwhelming kind of positive
Entonces el
response
DLC
in terms
3 y 4
of
será el
people
final de la
wanting to
historia del
see
Aether
it.
ya.
So we've been listening to
¿Vale?
that feedback, so we've changed some of our rules or adapted to that feedback, and so those are in Helcatraz and in DEFCON 5. But yeah, as Craig says, it's really good for kind of beginners because it'll teach you about a level. You know, hey, tell you about a shield, tell you about certain weapons and usage. But then it's also good for advanced players because it tests you in different ways as you get further up. And obviously it's same as last time, which is 3 sets of 10 levels each to get all the way through a gauntlet.
We've also got the Ethereal Razor perk coming tomorrow.
Yes.
Great name.
Yeah, literally hours were spent on that name. Yeah, I'll leave it for the community to discover, but essentially it's a perk which has a buff to your knife or to your melee weapon, and it allows you to gain health when attacking the undead.
I also believe that you've got plans to support signature weapons and throwing in some additional tier skips along the way.
Yes, so let's start with tier skip. So tier skip currently, if you've played around 15 on a daily basis, you get the tier skip. Now in this next update, daily callings will also give you that tier skip. So that'll be 2 tier skips possible per day. That's a mouthful. Is 2 tier skips now possible from the Friends of the Zombies? Yeah. And signature weapons as well, they're coming in. Yeah.
Shortly, we will have David Vonderhaar and Matt Schrantz on to talk all things Blackout. And we've got a special video that we want to share with anyone. What would you guys like to, anything that you'd like to wrap up on with any updates tomorrow, anything about what is to come between now and March? And if not, what are we going to watch?
So I'll
more things coming.
More things coming. Yes,
Always.
more things going. I think we've got blogs and other things kind of that'll, I don't want to spill all the beans right now. So I'll leave that alone.
Sure.
But the video coming up is our director's music video that we always do.
Yeah.
For Dead of the
Video
Night.
musical.
Yeah, which was one of the funnest maps to work on.
Yeah,
with
lots
the
of
cast and just some of the ideas in it. It's one of my favourite ones to play. I like following ghosts around, which is why I work so closely with Jason.
There we go. There we go.
So yeah, it's kind of it's full rock and roll.
All right, outstanding. Well, then on that note, we will throw it to Dead of the Night.
Vale, un vídeo de Dead of the Night musical. Mapazo también, por cierto, me encanta el mapaste, la verdad. Es un mapazo, chicos, de verdad.
A warning carved in a figure. Run before they see you, leave you all away. Run before they know. Can't be real. Make me feel you like crumbling away. Where are all the names? Warming wind in the distance brings a colder morning, day and night. Brings a darker light over me. Now there are not I'm dead, but from this memory, bleeding from the darkest bleeding heart. What is this I'm looking for? Who am I beyond the storm? Show me something that I recognize. Show me answers to all this mystery. A warring cry of resistance sings the sleep of monster howling with the moons and tolls a needful bell in my mind. It won't stop ringing.
Bueno.
Time is rust wearing away.
Sí, sí está en el juego, sí. Bueno, está en Blackout. O sea, es decir, el juego se está. Lleva en Blackout desde el día 1 de que sale el juego. Pero creo que van a meterla también en zombies. Creo. Pues sí, de hecho está confirmado. Que van a meterla en zombies. Tanto las nuevas armas de multijugador como las que había en Blackout también. La Galil también. Estarán también en zombies, ¿vale? Así que sí, la D40 sí que estaba la DP40. Una novedad. La Galil, ahí está la Galil. Bueno, pues vale.
Welcome back. Here to keep the conversation rolling on all things Operation 3 Grand Heist with a focus on Blackout is David Vonderhaar and Matt Schranz. So guys, we got a couple things to get through today. Let's kick it off with the new prestige system and some of the emblems that one may have seen teased on various social media.
We're not in a hurry,
things.
right? We got some time?
we have as much time as you want, David.
Good, because I could take a lot of time.
We'll take it. There we go.
Here we go. So let's talk about the prestige system, which is really more than just the prestige system. So let's talk about what all encompasses all the changes that got made to the merit system in general. So first up, you are going to be able to prestige in Blackout. There is a healthy dose of the population that's sitting at 80 star, wondering what to do next.
Yeah.
That's coming. And then there's a lot of folks who are not there. So there's a big chasm and gap between the folks sitting at the top and the folks not. So for the folks sitting at the top, you're going to be able to prestige. It's the 10 levels of prestige, but it's also more than that because the Paragon levels make their way into Blackout.
Los prestigios de Blackout.
To play forever. On top of that, let's talk about the folks that are not quite there yet. The guys sitting at 35 and 45 and feeling like it's hard to advance. So this was a design decision that we made pretty early on to only reward kills and placements at the high end because that's the core of that mode. But we're loosening that up so that there'll be more placements kind of below that. So for example, in quads it's pretty much the same. The top 50% of the players will be able to advance. But solo players and duo players gets lots of love right now because those players, that 50% of them will now also be able to advance, get merits for placement. So we sort of
es como que hay una especie de clasificación en la cual el 50% de los jugadores podrán subir de nivel y el 50% bajarán de nivel cuando prestigies. Está guay.
Everything multiplied by 10, and what that lets us do is create more merits to give out in more situations for more people, more of the time. If you only give out one merit for something, it's hard to give out a half a merit for something. So 1 becomes 10, and 100 becomes 1,000, right? And that kind of system change
multiplican también por 10
los
méritos.
Where we can give away more merits
para subir más rápido de nivel. Esto está bastante bien.
To that featured playlist. So those are the 3 major changes going on there in the nutshell version.
All right. One of the things that
I'm happy about more merits. It's hard.
One of the things that Dan talked about at the front end is that all of the content that was illustrated in the roadmap that we shared this morning isn't necessarily available on day one. A great example of that is Hot Pursuit, new game mode coming within Blackout, and that's coming out on Friday.
Yep, Friday. Hot Pursuit.
What do we need to know?
It is hot, and there will be pursuit.
Nice.
No, it's so it's a super fun game mode. With our past game modes, Close Quarters Frenzy, Ambush, has been a variant. It's still very slow. The gameplay is still there from Blackout, but with this we kind of want to say, we said, how can we have more fun? How can we fit the theme of this cops and robbers Operation Grand Heist So we've been working on brand new vehicles, and they're going to be highlighted in Hot Pursuit. First up are the police vehicles. We've got the police SUV, we've got the PBR boat, and then we've got some other vehicles that the players already used, and those are going to have police skins in Hot Pursuit. And when you hop into a police vehicle, whether it be an SUV or an
Ahora con todo el tema de cambios en Black ahora va a ser un Battle Royale más divertido, la verdad, porque antes era un poco un Battle Royale un poco soso. Le faltaban cosas en el mapa, pero ahora sí que tiene pinta que va a ser un Battle Royale ya más a considerar, ¿vale? Antes era como menos que Fortnite, menos que PUBG, menos que Apex, porque realmente era un Battle Royale así. Yo creo que de los 4 así Battle Royales así que hay importantes, está PUBG, Fortnite y Apex y Blackout. Pues Blackout era el que menos así importaba.
The sirens are not quiet. So if you want,
that's fun.
That's what we call risk.
Así que bueno, ahora va a subir un pelín de posiciones.
So
if you could show me like in shapes, maybe scratch and sniff, that would be great. Cause like I'm like pretty baseline.
We'll check it out after.
Okay.
So in addition to that, the police vehicles will also see enemy muscle cars marked. So that marking is going to be a red beam shooting up from the sky, which is super cool. You hop into a police vehicle and you just look around and you're going to see all these bad guys marked by the beams. You want to go chase those guys. The muscle cars also have inherent benefits, and their benefit is they're going to be on the lookout for loot, high value loot. And so their benefit is they're going to get the same marking but a green beam, and that's going to mark every single supply drop and supply stash that's currently active in the level. And we've taken a lot of the high value loot, level 3 armor, trauma kit, tactical weapons, operator weapons, gold weapons, and those are only going to be found in supply drops and stashes. So if you want that good stuff, you're going to want to grab a muscle car, head to the nearest supply drop or stash, and get that out of there. In playtesting, the fun, the laughs, the chuckles that we've heard most is when you're chasing each other around. So the police vehicles are on the hot pursuit of the muscle cars, who are then looking for the loot. We're kind of working off a variation of down but not out respawn rules. So if you have a teammate alive at the next collapse, you're going to be able to redeploy. With this, we kind of looked at that, and we saw it can be tough to drop into the last circle with a strife pistol. So we're going to try what we're calling escalating loadouts, and those loadouts will escalate per circle or per collapse. So you may start out with a strife and some ammo, and if you get the chance to drop in the final collapse, you may get a little bit better of a loadout. So that's going to be where you're going to end up dropping in with an SMG, maybe some armor, just because we know it can be more difficult in those final minutes to really compete with enemies that are on the ground. So it's super interesting, super fun, and we've been having a blast with it.
And throws the rules of a blackout kind of experience and turns them inside out, where you're getting more stronger the longer you go. It's
fun.
It's fun.
Well, I mean,
good diversion from the core.
Just riff on that for a minute, because it seems like, and you mentioned down but not out, and it seems like between what the team has been doing in Operation 2, what's planned with Hot Pursuit, seems like new game modes are an opportunity to kind of play in new and inventive ways.
Yeah, I think what you'll see, sort of operation to operation, every operation has kind of a core theme to it. This one, Operation Grand Heist, you have cops and robbers, so you see a lot of cops and robbers related activity across MP and Blackout. So that one has this mode. Other future operations will also have its core theme or core idea, so it'll have its kind of crazy new take on a game mode. But it's not just the one that you get kind of the first couple days of the operation. There's some other activities around there, hardcore, and some other thoughts that were going on. So we're going to keep the pure game mode evolving, right? The pure base, battle royale experience that people know. But we're also going to constantly try to put the feature playlist in, including the feature playlist that you've seen. So it's not just about Grand Heist. It'll also be about Down But Not Out. It'll also be about Ambush. It'll also be about all the things that you sort of create along the way and the combinations of them. So as we build up this library, we actually take some of the rules from one and apply them to the other, and then everything kind of just gets faster and better as a result of the continued involvement and progress that we're making, to allow different types of game modes to be played inside of the Blackout map. But one day, who knows what's possible?
Anything's possible. Well, I'm sure that our good friend Ben Lewis will have plenty of updates on the Reddit machine tomorrow. Along with that, I'm sure there'll be a number of sort of updates in terms of quality of life. You guys have been busy on that front as well.
So nothing is more important to fans than the quality of life improvements, at least when they hit me up directly. So there's a couple of things that are going to make it in right off the bat, and more still in the way. So the three that are probably worth kind of mentioning right off the bat is, if you remember the new the stash UI, what we call the supply stash or the death stash UI, when there's an item in the stash, it only shows up once. It doesn't show up like a frag, a frag, a frag. It shows a frag with 3 pips on it. So that idea has been carried over to the quick menu. So when you're pressing up on the D-pad to kind of select something quickly, you don't have to burn the space.
Llego a saber y no lo hacía, chicos. Ya que estamos aquí, vamos a terminarlo ya, pero vamos.
So that idea has
Llego a saber y no lo hago.
The quick equip working the same way. That's one. The one that I think fans will be super excited about is when you go to get a gun, you can strip the attachments off that gun immediately and then put them on the gun that you have. So that's a big change. So if you got a tactical, for example, on the ground, which of us does not strip the tactical to put all that stuff on the gun that we're using? We pretty much all do that. So now you can just do that, and you can do that with any gun.
Tengo la boca seca, no he comido nada casi hoy, me he despertado, está un poco malo.
And then the other one that I like,
luego he estado grabando el Water Meso de Finch, que lo he dejado ya a punto de acabarlo. Y entonces significa que tengo que terminarlo esta noche, el juego, grabándolo. No quiero subir completo el juego, ¿vale? Y me da un palo hacerlo, pues tengo la boca seca. Está como grabando 2 horas de gameplay. Luego he grabado la reacción al tráiler. Luego he grabado también todas las novedades que va a haber mañana en el DLC. Y ahora estoy en directo también, entonces tengo la voz un poco seca. Y no he comido casi nada. No he desayunado ni he merendado, solamente he comido. Entonces estoy deseando que acabe esta mierda ya para irme a cenar, grabar el final de Finch y jugar un ratito a la Play, jugar un rato al Call of Duty.
ABR is a great weapon in Blackout. We definitely saw its popularity rise a bit with our previous armor tuning. So that one's going to get a little bit of a change. I believe on that one we've increased the recoil just a touch. And we've increased the delay between bursts just a touch again. So we don't want to swing too hard. I think we did that with the SDM. Sometimes we can look at the data and you get a lot of feedback and kind of overshoot that. So we've made some micro changes, taken a look at the data, and I think everybody's gonna. It's not. I wouldn't say a huge meta shift, but some of those weapons that you have been carrying, you may want to look at something else. For example, light machine guns. That's a big change for us. It is a small change.
But why? It's important to know why, right? So
you kind of look at that journey. So over the past 2 weeks, we've got a lot of feedback about everybody's driving ATVs, running people over. We don't want that to happen. Vehicles are for traversing the map. We don't want them to be primarily used as offensive weapons.
What if that's all I have? That's all I got going for me, man.
No, you can still try. But
then you should play Hot Pursuit. No, but that said, it's still a part of Blackout. Yeah. You can still get ran over.
So what are you doing with the LMGs?
So with LMGs, we were like, you know what? We don't want these to be laser weapons. We don't want everybody to be rolling around with LMGs. What can we do with them to give them a unique benefit? So they're actually going to do double damage against vehicles. For example, a Titan in Blackout may take today 40 bullets to take out an ATV or a helicopter. It's going to come down to 20. So those VKM 750s and those Titans that you leave laying around, you may want to pick up one of those and keep it handy.
You want to. I mean, the meta changes over time, right? So. We think it's so important that there are fast-moving vehicles in the map. That's what the ATV is for. The ATV is not necessarily supposed to be used predominantly as a weapon. And it was really Ambush, I think, where we started to sort of see that kind of behavior come out. It's not unexpected in a mode like that, but then that becomes sort of the part of the new meta. And that's the fun thing about working on Blackout is the meta is changing all the time. What was super viable yesterday was not viable 10 days ago and vice versa and in the future. So you have to constantly evolve with the times with that stuff. So now there's multiple counters to vehicles, and the weapon tuning is kind of an unusual place to go look. But now an LMG, which most of us would probably pass over most of the time if you look at the data.
Menudo coñazo, amigo.
But now you hold an LMG as a
secondary, por favor.
It's, on par or better than a rocket launcher as a secondary, on par or better than a ballistic shield as a primary equipment, on par or better than mesh mines as an anti-vehicle device. Now there's like 4 different ways, alternative, and the LMGs are good because once you start using LMGs to blow up vehicles, you can start using LMGs to blow up people. And then this weapon that you're all skipping over most of the time, you're probably not skipping over it quite the same. And that's today. Then there'll be something else, in the next season as the meta evolves and changes, and that's what makes it fun. Makes it complicated to keep up with the pace of it, for sure. Make no mistake, we know this better than anybody, but we're not done trying, and this is one way. Yep. Just removing the ATVs is not a solution. Their start speeds, potentially other things that we've looked at, including fuel, potentially. I'm not saying so. I'm not sure that's the right thing to do quite yet. But we talk about these things all the time. We're listening to what you're saying about that. We're looking for interesting ways to solve those problems, not just the really obvious way, which is to delete everything, right? Delete everything, you have nothing left.
Yep. And then additionally for LMGs, since we're on that topic, they're all going to have a little bit less recoil. So they'll be slightly less frustrating to use against infantry. So yeah, I think I'll be picking up a Titan over.
T-minus 1 day until you tell me they're overpowered. One day.
Yeah.
1 day.
We'll fix it. We'll fix it.
You guys are like the best guests ever. Like I mean, wind you up, let you go.
Tell me when to stop.
This is
Do it.
Warzone.
No.
I did that for the tweet earlier. All right, let's move on.
All right.
I got one more on
What?
tuning. One more on tuning, because it's a big one, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of feedback. Hopefully, all positive.
Armor.
Hopefully.
Armor.
Undoubtedly.
We gotta talk about armor.
We've touched armor a few times. Armor's a new thing for us. Levels of armor, blackout's a new thing for us. So we're still trying to dial that in.
What would you do, Matt?
Well, for this title update, we took a look at the data from where we were before our last tuning change to our oh my god, level 1 is paper now. I hear you.
Level 1 is paper.
And you know what? Level 1, looking at the data, the curves of our graph of where people were dying
Estoy hablando de la
previous to the
armadura.
patch to after, you weren't entirely wrong. So we are going to bring up level 1 and level 2. So level 1's going to get a slight bump. Level 2 is actually going to come up to where level 3 is now, as far as damage mitigation.
Damage mitigation, not durability. Don't confuse the two.
Right. So we flattened.
So many people tweeting me.
We flattened the armor levels.
Thank you.
But now level 3 still has the inherent mitigation of headshot damage. We've also brought back the armor plates to repair for level 3 armor back down to 5. Now that those are all a little bit more aligned. So
talk about the shot differential though, because in the abstract it can seem like they're super delta and they're not.
Yeah, sure.
Delta.
Before we made our tuning changes, I believe it was 5 shots with an ICR against an unarmored enemy. Still the same, and then it kind of went up from 6 to 8 to 10. So we're slowly flattening that down a bit. And when you just look at that on paper, it doesn't seem like a huge change. But depending on the range and if you're using a very low-powered SMG, it can, those hits to kill can jump a bit. So we're just trying to dial those in, and I think this pass we've all been super happy with internally. So I'm looking forward to getting the feedback on that, like I inevitably will.
All right, David, I believe that you guys have you brought a build with us, and you wanted to jump into some of the new locations.
This is doing it live. I mean, everybody else.
Are you sufficiently pumped?
I don't know. I'm
what?
steaming. There's steam coming off of me. All right, so what we're going to do is try this in real time. So, yeah, we had one of those fancy fly-through videos like MP had, and them slickly produced zombie videos. But no, we're going to try it the hard way because we're doing it live. So I want to show you this stuff because it's just sort of easier to talk about than watching a video. So can we put this up on the screen and show everybody? That's good. So what you guys are staring at in real time is Ghost Town. And Ghost Town is the primary new destination that we've been talking about. And Ghost Town is the combination of standoff or outlaw, depending on which version you like more from which game, added to the blackout map. So let me just show you where this is kind of in context. So I'm down here, right down here in the southeast corner of the map. Is that right? Yeah. So a significant new destination. And so just to give you a sense of scale here, if you ever played Buried from Zombies, then you kind of know what you're staring at here. So the mansion on this side, and then all the town.
Hostia, como mola varias,
drop to the ground real quick and try to run around a little bit. Just quickly, then I'll fly back out and show you some other things. All this stuff is playable. So all this kind of interior space has all the loot that you'd expect of kind of a primary destination, has all the kinds of tricks and traps and backsides and flow-throughs and all the things that you would know. And this is all covered up, so you're not going to have anybody dropping on you. The downside of it being underground is that you can't actually just sort of escape through the top. There's no clear way to get back through there. So you're going to have to use one of the many ways to get out, which means the chokes when you're trying to get in and out of a destination like this can be pretty severe. There's only sort of 3 primary ways in and out, which means your entrances are not the same things as your exits, and you cannot just sort of surface jump from the top of something and make a run for it in any sort of direction. So this is kind of what, whoops, oh.
Pero tiene texturas el puto mapa de mierda, tío.
Can I get the dev GUI? Help me
You
out.
need some help?
Yeah, I need some help with that.
I got you.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know why the no clip's not working. Amateur hour up in here. So you got Outlaw, you got Standoff on this side of the map, and then the way down into the buried section of Ghost Town is through the jail cell of Outlaw. So you're gonna have a lot of fun. This one is particularly my favorite. It's like a one-way kind of slide down this mine shaft, which can be pretty entertaining and choky. So this is a significant destination add. Just to put this in perspective, if you look at the playable space and the amount of interior room and the number of places that things can go, you're talking construction site level spawning of items here. So this will be a pretty fun and pretty insane destination that provides a particularly new experience into the Blackout map. Now, just before we stop on that, there's another thing to talk about. This is not the only thing that we did. So I'm going to show you 3 examples of stuff. So there's things that we've done inside the Blackout map, which we would call completely new. So there's this entire kind of camp section behind where the dam is and where the offices are. So if you look at where I am in the map up here, there's Hydro. This is a very popular drop for myself and Davey in the Bridge Ambush community. Shout out, boys. I'll see you tonight. You got this thing right here, which is where this is. So now you've got pressure on Hydro, not just from the guys who drop short on offices or the guys coming up from Asylum, but also this whole thing, which is now pretty viable. It's like a decent, viably suitable place to drop. If you know, you're gonna be less looted, but then you're gonna put pressure on the guys to come in. So that's what we call new, and there's more than one of those. The other one is down here. This is another example of something inside the map that's completely new. But that's not sort of the totality of that story either. Let me go over, find my way here. This is what doing it live looks like, guys. I'm gonna come over here and drop what we would probably call, or what you would call, apartments or condos. You remember this section of the map here is typically has been 6 buildings, what we called the 6-pack, or actually that was a term I think you guys picked up, 6-pack, and then we now have it as an 8-pack. So now this is even more viable as a potential first drop, even in a quad game. So you get some pretty fun activity, sort of guys fighting across the street from one another or house to house. Now there's 8 buildings. So again, you're not gonna walk out of here completely looted up with the quad game, but you're definitely walking out of here in a duo game and or solo game super looted up. So that's what we would call expanded. So you have new, which are destinations which didn't exist, sort of secondary and supporting structures, and you have these, which are expanded, and there's lots of these. I want to show you one more because firing range fans will be thrilled to death or very, 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 very unhappy with me. So here's another one that's gotten expanded. Look how close this is to firing range. So if you get drop firing range and you cleared it all out and you think you're done, maybe, maybe not, because you're going to have this destination which has been expanded, putting pressure on you coming down from the hill here. And this is an absolutely tough fight. It's tough enough as it is. I mean, now it's even tougher still. So we like these kind of destinations which are close to, they're not as large as or significant as, but they're also adjacent to, and that puts interesting pressure on players. One last one to talk about, sort of, and that's, you know, more macro than that. What you'll see along the way is kind of different and more supporting things, sort of running along your typical paths that are just sort of expanded. I think this one by the riverbank here. Let's see, where am I?
Yeah, some of those the support structure additions we've added are my favorite for my playstyle because I don't like to drop hot. It stresses me out. So with these new support structures and my leisurely jaunt from place to place, destination to destination, I have more places to kind of explore and look at. What's that? What is that?
What's that? What is this?
That's a. Oh. That's a dope muscle.
It's time to wager on, to wager. Oh no.
So as you're driving around, like some of these areas that you're pointing out, like these are things that have been sort of coming into existence. It's not like they just kind of popped out of nowhere, right?
Oh my gosh, we started seeding out kind of the survey stakes as an example.
Yeah.
Where these things might be going, and with the high degree of wait.
What is that, David?
What's that? What's that?
It's the 5-0.
Whoa! No, you didn't, Matt.
There you go.
You didn't.
So you get a little look at the built-in sensor dart there. No
oh
enemies,
my God.
just the one man.
Oh my God, what have you done?
No, you can turn those off.
What have you
with the-
done? What have you done?
You can turn those off. You lose the sensor dart functionality.
Why would you turn them off?
Well, if you want to be a little bit stealthier, if you want to go for a more of a cold pursuit,
I'm done.
I don't know.
I think I've outlived my usefulness on this one.
Pues ya está, gente.
Thanks, Hot
No hay
Fuzz.
nada más.
Appreciate it.
Voy a cerrar por aquí ya.
All right.
I'm never gonna hear the end of this one.
All right. So, is there anything else in the blackout front that you want to cover here today?
Is there anything in the blackout front that you want us to cover today?
No. Well, I
Refer
see
to
what you
your
just
note
did
cards.
there. No, I mean we covered it all. I mean,
There's a lot there. Like Vaughn said, we could sit and talk for hours about the changes that players are going to see tomorrow, that they're going to see a week after that, a week after that.
Yeah, Tony talked about it a little bit when he was up. I want to reinforce this stuff. Like the season, the operation, excuse me, is not tomorrow. It is not Thursday. It is not Friday. It is tomorrow and Thursday and Friday and the entire time. And we put the roadmap up on the Treyarch blog site. It's Treyarch.com. I linked it earlier so that people can just have a direct link to that thing while you guys were talking about it. It's just really important that you understand that this stuff is seasoned and plotted out over the course of time. It is designed to give you things kind of on a schedule that's predictable, and it's absolutely and 100%, and you're absolutely right, on us to do a better job communicating how that works, and that's why we're doing this. And it's not the only thing we got going on with this. We got some deep dives on the coming with the developer update, which they're editing right now, I think, and we're going to do a much better job. We're going to get on camera a lot more and talk through these things so you guys can understand them more than the bullet point inside the Reddit post. That's just one of the things that we do. It's not
what
the
we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Did we make it through?
I think we made it through. All right, before we head out today, just wanted to offer a few thank yous. First, thank you to our guests who
Ya está,
worked really
chao.